Special counsel urges judge to crack down further on Trump's comments. The Boston Globe. In recent weeks, Trump's public statements attacking prosecutors, court personnel, and others have raised alarms among judges who worry that such verbal broadsides might inspire someone to commit violence against the subjects of Trump's wrath. Trump has been indicted 4 times this year in D.C. on federal charges of conspiring to obstruct the election results, in Florida on federal charges of mishandling classified papers and obstructing government efforts to retrieve the documents, in Georgia on state charges of plotting to thwart the election results there, and in New York on business fraud charges related to hush money payments in 2016. Trump has denied the charges and accused law enforcement officials of pursuing him in the courts to keep him out of the 2024 presidential race, where he has a commanding lead over all his Republican rivals. U.S. District Judge Tanya S. Chutkan, who is overseeing the federal case against Trump in D.C., issued a limited gag order against the former president last week, but she temporarily suspended the order while she considered further argument on the matter. In a lengthy filing, Smith's office argued she should reinstate the gag order, particularly in light of a social media post this week, in which Trump talked about his former chief of staff Mark Meadows, who is a likely witness in the pending trial. Without the court's order, prosecutors wrote, there is an immediate risk that witnesses' testimony could be influenced or deterred by the defendant's documented pattern of targeting. Time equals 400 ms. greater than. Notably, the filing urged Chutkan to modify the defendant's conditions of release by making compliance with the order a condition or by clarifying that the existing condition barring communication with witnesses about the facts of the case includes indirect messages to witnesses made publicly on social media or in speeches. Time equals 400 ms. greater than. Such a modification, the prosecutors argue, would give Chutkan compliance measures available under 18 U.S.C. Section 3148 in addition to those available as a contempt penalty for violating the order. The compliance measures listed in that part of the law are a revocation of release, an order of detention, and a prosecution for contempt of court. Time equals 400 ms. greater than. Otherwise, without the court's intervention, the defendant will continue to threaten the integrity of these proceedings and put trial participants at risk, the 32-page filing argues. The argument over Trump's public statements escalated when Trump reacted to an ABC News report that said Meadows had provided testimony against Trump in exchange for immunity. The former president posted on social media that he doubted Meadows would say what the news report claimed, but added, some people would make that deal, but they are weaklings and cowards, and so bad for the future our failing nation. Time equals 400 ms. greater than. The new legal argument over the federal gag order came just hours after a New York State court judge overseeing a civil fraud trial against Trump found him in contempt of that court's gag order and fined Trump $10,000. Separately, Smith filed a number of other written arguments Wednesday evening in the D.C. case, arguing some demands made by Trump's lawyers risk pushing his trial back later in 2024. Trump has repeatedly sought and failed to persuade judges handling his 4 criminal cases to put off the trials until after next year's election. In the D.C. case, Trump has pleaded not guilty, and his lawyers have suggested he may use an advice of counsel defense to fight the accusations, arguing that he cannot be convicted of actions he took while being advised by lawyers. But prosecutors argue in the new filing that Trump's effort to wait until mid-January to formally notify the court whether he intends to use an advice of counsel defense would probably create a delay in the spring trial, as lawyers then spar over the rules, evidence, and procedures for conducting a trial in which Trump's legal advice will take center stage.